What is going on, hybrid shooters? It's Jason Vong and welcome back to another wedding film behind the scenes commentary. Today we'll be taking a look at Susan and Chris's wedding film, and I'm gonna go over how to shoot wedding romantics effectively with two shooters and give a mini review on the EOSHD Pro color picture profile. So first, go ahead and watch Susan and Chris's wedding film. You can find that link in the description box below, and then come back and watch this BTS commentary. So we shot this wedding back in December 2017. This is right when the A7R III just came out. So it was my A7R III's first video gig, and I was honestly super blown away by the immense improvements on this camera. For example, we don't often shoot 120 frames per second at weddings just because it crops heavily on the A7S II, and on the A7R II, you can't shoot 120 frames per second in 1080p. It's only limited to 720p. So when I learned about the A7R III being able to shoot 120 frames per second in 1080p, no cropping, I decided to test it out, and man, the results just look amazing. I only did it for a couple of scenes just because, again, we don't often shoot in 120 frames per second. We usually just shoot 60 frames per second in 1080p, but the results that we got were like, man, this is awesome. It was because of this wedding that we decided to use 120p slow motion for the weddings after this one. Another tremendous improvement that we saw on the A7R III was the autofocus system. Now, on paper, there doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the A7R III and the A7R II. During wedding ceremonies, I would usually be the one with a 24-70 getting the procession of the bridal party and the bride walking down the aisle. Now, whenever I shot with the A7R II, the bride and her dad would probably have to get to about the middle of the aisle and into a medium shot before the face detection kicks in. But with the A7R III, right when the doors opened up, the face detection kicks in, locks focus on the bride's face, and kept her in focus as she walks down the aisle. It was in that moment that I realized I made a really good investment on the A7R III. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about the camera, I did an extensive review on the Sony A7R III and the A7 III, which you can watch right up here. All right, so let's move on to how to shoot wedding romantics effectively with two shooters. Honestly, this is probably one of the best wedding romantic sessions that we've had with the couple, because usually we don't have a lot of time working with the couple, especially when things are running late and the romantic session has to be cut short. So normally we would have at best maybe 15 to 30 minutes with the couple, but at this particular wedding, we had almost an hour with them. I guess we have our photographer to thank for, because Grace, we work with her twice now, and every time we have an hour of romantic session with the couple, so it's great, it's fantastic. So when you have two shooters, you normally want to have one shooter with a wide angle lens and another shooter with a telephoto lens. So Eric was on the Sony a6500 dancing between the Zeiss 18mm and the 25mm on the Zhiyun Crane 1, while I was on the A7R III with the Zeiss 135. So Eric was more concentrated on the wide and medium shots, with the gimbal getting really stabilized shots using the fake slider, push in, push out, while I concentrated more on the details like hand holding, bouquet, the couple laughing. And when you piece together all these shots in editing, the wide, the medium, and the close-up, it creates this nice fluidity in your wedding film highlight. So when you have two shooters, this is the best way to tag team any events during a wedding day. So a majority of the wedding romantics happened during noon. There was another session that happened during sunset. Now for the sunset romantics, unfortunately, we only had one shooter on that because I had to go prep for the reception. We were running a little bit late. I had to get the tripods and an audio set up at the reception while Eric followed the couple. Now he only had like one lens setup. I think he had the 6500 with the 25mm Batis on the Zhiyun Crane. So a lot of his shots were limited to a medium shot. And this was one of the many instances that made us realize that we need to have a zoom lens on a stabilizer just in case we have to divide up the team. That way the solo shooter can get wide, medium, and close-up coverage whenever they do romantics with the couple. Now, I talk a lot more about this in a previous Gear Talk video where we're now using the Crane 2 and the G Master 24-70. It just helps us get a variety of different stabilized shots, 24 wide, 50 medium, and telephoto at 70. So if you're interested in that setup, definitely watch this video up here. All right, so let's move on to a mini review on the EOS HD Pro Color Picture Profile. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's the settings that you can input on your Sony Alpha cameras to get colors close to that of the Canon cameras. The settings guide can be bought for about $20 to $30 on EOSHD.com. It's created by this guy named Andrew Reed. There's a version 4 now of the EOS HD Pro Color Profile, but at the time we were shooting this wedding, version 3 was the latest one. Now, as you probably saw, a majority of the footage looked amazing. The skin tone looked amazing. All of the outdoor shots looked amazing until we got to the reception stuff, the low light stuff. That's when I saw the EOS HD Pro Color profile start to fall apart. We were getting some reddish, pinkish skin tones. That was a nightmare to color correct in post. I would have to desaturate the red and pink and warm the footage back up just to get it back to somewhat decent. At first, we thought maybe we input the settings wrong, maybe that's just how the reception looked, but we used it at another wedding and it was just low light everywhere, low light galore, so it just pretty much confirmed our suspicion that we shouldn't be using EOS HD at low light, in low light areas. So we experimented trying to do EOS HD during the daytime where there's lots of lights and just switch back to picture profile 1, which is the default movie profile at receptions. But the thing is, we would always forget to switch profiles just because it's hectic during the wedding day, and it would just like forget it. We'll just stick with one picture profile just to make our lives easier. So we've just been shooting exclusively on picture profile 1, the default movie profile, for all of the Sony Alpha cameras. So honestly, it's been working out for us. It's working best for us. We would just use a LUT over our footage for our wedding films, and it's been working fantastic. So we haven't been using the EOS HD Pro Color for the last couple of weddings. We're just sticking with picture profile 1. Guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of Susan and Chris's wedding film and what you want me to talk about in the next wedding film behind the scenes commentary. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.